My SDBXW filed for a divorce 8 months ago. We have been separated for 8 months and moved in with her affair partner. Divorced is to be finalized next month. Now she's begging not to go through with it and begging me to try reconciliation. My wife 38F and I 37M met back in college. We dated for 5 years before getting married. Our marriage has been good with a little ups and downs. We have 2 girls 13 and 15. January last year, I noticed my wife spending more time in phone more than normal. She basically did what every typical cheaters does. Lied, blame shifted and gaslighted me when I tried to express my concerns. I know I was not perfect and I did some things that I regret very much, but she treated me like a piece of all this time during her affair. I tried to improve all the aspects of our relationship that she felt like they were not good. When D-Day came in the beginning of June, she confessed to having an EA and sleeping with him only twice. Then she blamed me for her affair. She said that she wanted to reconcile and we tried reconciliation, but she was just not into it. She still contacted him and they were still talking. When I told her how uncomfortable it made me, she said they were just friends and kept deleting texts. Even when I told her not to. When I threatened divorce, she would cry, apologize, and beg me not to. When I tried to bring up the affair, she would get mad, and somehow, I was the one who ended up apologizing. Then after 2 or 3 months, she started disappearing again, saying that she was visiting family because they needed her at the time. I knew she was going to see AP, and when I brought it up, she was very convincing. One weekend she disappeared and didn't pick up my calls or answer my text, and when she came back, she told me that her cousin had gotten sick, and they had to rush her to the hospital and forgot her phone at her sister's place. And all this time I was trying to make it work for us. She saw all the efforts I made but just didn't give a. Then by mid-December, she told me that she was moving out, that she had been unhappy in our relationship, and while she still cared for me, she was in love with AP, that she had finally found her soulmate. I remember crying for hours trying to beg her, but her mind was made up. We had to tell the kids. She said that I could have the kids for the weekdays and she could come visit them on weekends since her AP apartment was small. She filed for divorce a week after. This was the worst moment of my life. I grieved for weeks. When I tried to talk to her to see if there was any chance, but all she said that she was sorry for everything she put me through, but her mind is made up. No one other than us knew. Both her and my parents knew that we were only separated but never knew the reason. By the end of January, when her mom called me and insisted I tell the truth, I invited her over together with her dad. I told them everything and literally, I broke into tears and cried on my mother-in-law's shoulder. They comforted me and apologized for their daughter's behavior. I later told my parents and then some few close friends. Soon enough everyone knew about us and I started receiving comforting messages, others talking ill of my ex. Soon afterwards, my wife called me crying, saying that I turned everyone against her and that she hates me. She said that people were threatening her and AP and her dad hates. They had a close relationship. Her and sisters don't want to speak to her. And no one will speak with her without insulting her. This was mid-April. By the beginning of June, her relationship with AP had fizzled out due to stress. I remember she came to see the kids and told me that her AP kicked her out cause he couldn't handle the stress of their relationship. She was living in a hotel room. She didn't look good at all, like someone who was depressed. She asked if she could move back in and I said no. She said that she understood but asked to spend more time with the kids. She said that she wanted to make up for the lost time with the kids and wanted to come in the afternoon and for them and spend time with them. I agreed. By this time she would come my favorite meal, clean the house, write a small notes saying I love you together with flowers. When I came back home from work, she would always try to spend some more time with me. I have to admit, I did enjoy spending time with her. Then she started talking about how much she misses me and asked divorce is what I really wanted. I always avoided these conversations. Last week now she told me that she had been going to IC and was wondering whether we should try MC. She has started dressing the way, like wearing makeup. She has tried to initiate, but I have turned her down. She has bought me more goods and more than countless times she has brought up MC. On weekend, she cried, begging me to not to go through with the divorce, that she has already put up with a lot and all she wants me and her family back, and she will to do whatever I want. I know it's like the roles are reversed. All this time I have been numb, although a part of me feels happy now that she has gotten a taste of her own medicine. I still love her, but I don't really know if I should give our relationship another chance. Story 2. Wife cheated, so I tricked her into publicly admitting to having the affair and herpes. Okay, so I'm the coworker that encouraged him to post this. Unfortunately, your account has to be 7 days old to post here. So I gifted him an alta I made for a joke about a month ago. This story is about 12 years old. I told it to one of my coworkers yesterday, and he said I should share it to Reddit. Today, he again nudged me, so here we are having drinks before the 4-day weekend and my writing is complete. So first time here and hi y'all. Sorry if there are typos. In college, I met the woman who I thought was mine one. We dated for about 2 years and had a big wedding after a 10-month engagement. Her family was pretty well-to-do in a small southern town. We were both continuing our educations, and I was also working to support us. I was pursuing a master's in engineering while she was finishing her doctorate in anthropology. Over the summer, an opportunity came up for her to make some extra money going as an aide on a religious studies trip to Jamaica. I didn't hesitate when she asked me about it. I mean, she was going to get to visit Jamaica and get paid for it. I saw no downside other than missing her being at home for 6 weeks. Little did I know at the time, but she had been ducking the professor he had hung out with us, smoked my weed and drank my ducking beer. I considered him a friend who arranged the trip for a couple months, and it was a getaway for them to bang all over the island. I, clueless and happy, went about the weeks while she was gone taking extra ships so I could match what she made in our account and surprise her. What a dick crap, right? One of the students from the trip actually seeked me out to clue me in. I didn't believe him until I started looking for evidence on my own. I broke down and checked her texts while she was sleeping and nothing was there. There were a few VMs, so I decided to listen, and there it was. A message from that giant saying how exciting it was that I almost caught them. I opened up her laptop and hit the emails after that. It was piles and piles of making fun of me for not knowing, ducking in our bed and laughing about it. There was so much and I was so heartbroken. Still too hurt to take any action. I was lost. I had no idea what to do, so I sat on it for a couple weeks and acted as normally as I could. I noticed everything now. I felt so for not seeing it before. So many signs. One stuck out in particular. I noticed that our stash of homemade weed lube, if you've never tried it, I highly recommend giving it a go, was going down even though we weren't having sex. It was obvious they were also using the fruits of my labor to get off more effectively. This really me off. Like unreasonably so, Hulk ducking mad. It finally all hit me. I was a joke to these, and they were using the lube I made and ducking in my bed. I didn't hurt anymore, I just wanted to make them hurt. So, while she was studying at the library, I made a new batch of lube. I put enough weed in it for it to smell like normal, but I also added some poison ivy from our backyard to the mixture, and after refilling the spray bottle we used for application, I waited. A few days go by and I'm working extra so I can be out of the house more, and bam, bait taken. That night after she goes to sleep, my plan goes into action. I sneak her phone away and delete my contact, while replacing his phone number in his contact as mine. I go to bed but can't sleep because it feels like I'm 5 and tomorrow is Christmas. Dawn arrives and she's in the shower. I get a text at him super itchy, "Are you no lord? Now is my time." Look, I thought it had cleared up, but I guess I had a flare up. I'm sorry, but I got herpes, and I guess you do now too. I heard this squeak in the shower. I'm covering my mouth near losing it. I went on to tell her that it was time to end things now. A new semester was about to start and I kind of have a little crush on another T/A. I wanted her mad. This is a woman that never got told no growing up and never had to deal with rejection, let alone from a balding dude in his 50s with herpes. When she got out of the shower, it was obvious she had been crying, but I could see the anger in her eyes. I could see how uncomfortable she was squirming at the table drinking coffee and mulling the situation over. Another little nudge is what she needed. The reply she got to her pages and pages of anger and sadness was, "Thanks for the good times, but can you keep this a secret between us? I don't want to ruin my chances with anyone else." She's flush with anger now, Just seething, she gathered her keys and headed out the door without even saying goodbye. I knew where she was going. I booted up her laptop and set it to reformat, deleting her dissertation and any notes pertaining to it before following her to campus. I parked a few lots over and rush over to his office, where I find her screaming at him for giving her herpes. There's lots of people there. Professors, aides, students, other faculty. I'm dying. He is beyond and confused as duck. She is ugly, crying in front of her peers. I'm in heaven. I didn't even care that people were going to think I had herpes too. The fallout was apocalyptic in their department. He lost his job due to code of conduct at the university. We got divorced the following year. State law was we had to be separated for 1 full year before being granted a divorce. I got to keep most of the assets, primarily savings and not a ton, but I worked for it. She never finished her doctorate and went on to be a perpetually pregnant housewife that sells Herbalife on Facebook, and he teaches high school now. It took a few years for it all to unfold, but watching it was glorious.